Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. It is your boy HMK and return to the fifth dimension. You guys didn't see what happened before. That was not an odd take or whatever. But today we're gonna be talking about the delay and the secrets of Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, which I believe is gonna happen before the 20th anniversary event, which we have the 10th of April. So it's about like 27, 28 days, like almost a whole month. But man, we are set to go for the trouble that Sora is gonna get into thanks to what Xehanort has done from Dark Road, Union Cross, everything going up until his disappearance at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. But if you guys didn't know, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road got delayed from its winter, I would say, point of release, right? And on the Japanese Twitter, they were like, oh, sorry, because, you know, all the Master Story updates and stuff is gonna, like, you know, we can't make sure everything's ready to go by that time, right? And that was just on the Japanese Twitter. On the English Twitter, that happened not too long ago, they finally said that, hey, listen, Kingdom Hearts Dark Road's finale, like the entire story drop or whatever, won't be able to, like, you know, hit its like its usual winter release schedule, but they clarified it was due to a massive scenario addition. So it looks like, to me, that Tetsuya Nomura really has something really spicy in store, or that he was overlooking the story of Dark Road and then he was saying, okay, this happened. I don't think he's changing anything. He's merely adding to it, right? He's not going to retcon anything. He's not going to change the actual story of Dark Road, because imagine that. That would be a nightmare. Like, imagine, like, Nomura actually went down and changed the master part of the story, and then they have to redo cutscenes, redo dialogue, all that stuff. And that would be a good reason to delay it, but a delay like that would delay the game probably out of months into, like, not even next year, but delay a little bit more than merely adding something to the end of the game. So I feel that Nomura really got something ready in mind, literally, to set up Quadratum and sub phase 2 of Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 4 and stuff, because I feel they're gonna, like, whatever they're adding to Dark Road, they're gonna need to, you know, show off and talk about and have in the minds of Kingdom Hearts fans before the anniversary. Because, I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you know, unless it was super important, they could have just added, like, a secret report in the next Kingdom Hearts game, or you know, yeah, like a secret report in the next Kingdom Hearts game. Like, how massive could it be? Apparently it's super massive, and a lot of people believe that it has to deal with the end of Xehanort's time, like the blank period, the unknown period of Xehanort becoming an old man. And as we saw in one of the screenshots, it was like 65 years later, 64 years later. Yeah, 64 years later. And if we go ahead and add that to, like, the 1920 zone, that would place Xehanort right at the beginning of Birth by Sleep, right? Because Birth by Sleep is 10 years before the events of Kingdom Hearts, and then, like, the calculations, and then how old Xehanort is in Kingdom Hearts 3, 75 years later, plus 20, after he did World Tour and met Master of Masters. So, the new story update is probably gonna flesh out a little bit more of how Xehanort came into contact with Ventus. And as we all know, with Dark Road is basically, like, not only is it Xehanort's origin story, but it's also supplemental material to Union Cross, because it's literally Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road, right? And as we saw at the end of as we saw at the end of Union Cross, we saw Ventus knocked out Keyblade Graveyard with a mysterious figure approaching him. A lot of people was like, I mean, come on, that has to be Xehanort, but maybe it's not Xehanort. Maybe it's someone finding finding Ventus in order to introduce him to Xehanort. It's like, hey, listen, this kid has a Keyblade and he's gonna need a master. And then Xehanort's like, oh, I'm a master, but I'm not really taking on students. I'm like, hey man, listen, Keyblade, or something like that. And as we find out in Union Cross, Ventus was always important because of the Keyblade, Birth by Sleep, all that good jazz. You know, Ventus' heart within Sora. He was always a little bit important, or whatever. Not a little bit more than a little bit. But as we found out in Union Cross, he was a catalyst. He had a cognitive darkness. I call them cognitive darknesses, but I feel like the best terminology to use when it comes to translation is willful darkness, right? He had a willful darkness in him, who was responsible for killing Strelitzia, right? And then Strelitzia, it could be running about. I mean, Strelitzia could even show up in Dark Road, and it's crazy, right? But I feel that the extra story edition is going to show how Xehanort came to contact with Ventus, and then I would say finally ended his journey in understanding the willful darknesses. Because we know that Vanitas is one of them, or at least Vanitas is spawned off of a willful darkness. I want to assume that Vanitas is a willful darkness, but the Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind kind of is like, oh wait, there's a darkness within Ventus. And then he's like, oh, leave him be. He's too filled with light. And then Sora's like, Vanitas? And then that didn't really sound like Vanitas, but Vanitas could have been a product of the willful darkness. It could have been another willful darkness. At the very least, I believe that Vanitas is not one of the 7 deadly darknesses, because there are 13 willful darknesses. We know that, right? And that's the original blueprint for the 13 darknesses, Organization 13, so on and so forth, right? We know there's 13 willful darknesses. However, among the 13, there's 7 deadly darknesses. And I feel that Vanitas is not one of them. And imagine if Vanitas is not one of those deadly darknesses, and Vanitas has been a problem, like all the way up until now. That makes super spicy darkness, right? And Xehanort, I feel, is going to come into understanding of those deadly darknesses, and then that will truly, you know, I would say, end his dark road, because he's already on the road. He's already finished his road to the darkness by that time, and that's gonna be like the hidden secret that we get from Birth by Sleep, that we didn't see in Birth by Sleep at the end of Dark Road, and that's probably the massive thing they're adding to the game. Now, if you guys haven't known, we have 3 episodes of Dark Road so far, and those episodes deal with Xehanort when he's spending days with his classmates in Scarlet Asylum. Baldur isn't there. We've seen what Baldur looks like, but the mission that these students are going for is looking for an upperclassman who turns out to be Baldur's sister. And from the new story things that we saw with the screenshots and the Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary trailer, we saw more Keyblade wielders, possibly, you know, students of Scarlet Asylum, and they're probably upperclassmen that are, like, you know, joining in the search for this mysterious lost Keyblade wielder. And as we saw from the first episode, after everything is said and done, where kid Xehanort becomes young Xehanort, when like Benjamin is like small Benjamin Diskin becomes Benjamin Diskin Prime, we see that 4 of 5 unknown classmates have died, right? So we already know there's 7 classmates in total when it comes to Xehanort's group. There's Xehanort, there's Ericus, there's Veor, there's Erd, there's Ermod, there's Bragi, and Baldur. Wait. Baldur, Bragi, Ermod, Veor, Erd, Xehanort, Ericus, right? So there's 7 classmates in total. 7, right? And 4 of them are going to die. At least 4 of them are going to die, and we don't know who's going to be the last person standing. There's big theories going around saying that Veor is the one that's going to live, and Veor turns out to be Kairi's grandmother and whatnot, and that makes a lot of sense. At the very least, if you guys know Norse mythology, you know that Baldur's going to get the business, right? It's just a fact, right? So as time goes on, when it comes to Xehanort's choices and going on that dark road, it's very apparent that, you know, that's a big thing that happens to him that really messes up his worldview, that's gonna you know, make him want to go on this journey, the world tour. And in that world tour, from the 2nd episode and the 3rd episode, we see that Xehanort indeed has eyes that are able to locate, detect the willful darknesses, in which we can only assume that Xehanort only notices them because they're not truly outside. They're not like whispering in the ears of, you know, the people that they're inhabiting, right? Xehanort sees them because, like, oh, there's a willful darkness within that person. As we saw, the Queen of Hearts from Wonderland is one of the willful darkness holders, right? And we don't know if those are one of the deadly darknesses, but I feel that throughout Dark Road, Xehanort is going to go out throughout these worlds and find these willful darknesses that are located within specific Disney villains. Queen of Hearts, Gaston, possibly, we can't do Clayton because, you know, the whole Tarzan thing, right? But it's going to be really interesting to see how these Willful Darknesses are going to be, you know, shown off through the eyes of Xehanort, the boy that has the eyes to see the darkness. And then we also have to think about the idea of the 7 deadly darknesses dealing with specifically 7 deadly sins, which we all know the foretellers are based off of. And then we find out at the end of Union Cross, as fucked up as the Master of Masters is, his plan to eliminate the darkness was to use his students and himself as bait in order to bait out the 7 deadly darknesses in order to trap them within the hearts of his students and himself, and then take them out the only way they know how, because apparently you can't destroy a darkness when it doesn't have a host. And that was the whole point of the Keyblade War. And I'm like, bro, Kingdom Hearts lore is wild. I love Kingdom Hearts so much. So, I think it's going to be this journey of Xehanort, you know, finding these 7 deadly darknesses after the world reset happened at the end of Union Cross. And then as time goes on, he's going to go into, like, this whole, like, disillusion thing when he's like, okay, the light, the darkness, man, all of this is just bunkus, right? We need to reset the world and save the world, which leads into a theory that I've been having when it comes to the Masters and Xehanort's relationship. Because we do see that one of the screenshots in the delay announcement shows the Masters, young Xehanort, not kid Xehanort, young Xehanort, with still his student clothes on, but with a dark coat next to him on the rock. So a lot of people's like, oh, is this where, you know, they first meet? Is this the same cutscene that we see in Remind? No, this is a cutscene that happens before Remind, in which they finally, you know, find each other. The Master of Masters meets young Xehanort, and then he tells him and say, hey, listen, yo, I heard that you're kind of looking for darkness, so I heard like you want to go around the world. It's kind of dangerous, so like, here, take this coat, and then, you know, go out, see the worlds, get back to me, you know, tell me what you find, right? And then that leads into Kingdom Hearts Remind. And then from that cutscene where we see young Xehanort, you know, talking with the Master saying that, oh, people think that they're powerful, their light is just a farce. They're just, you know, they're being swallowed by the darkness. That's how they get strength, because they're weak on the inside. That allows the darkness to take over, you know, their heart or whatever. And leading into that, I would say, line of thinking is him going to see each Disney world, each Disney villain being consumed by a willful darkness, which would make a lot of sense on how they're super powerful in terms of Kingdom Hearts. Because I mean, like, sure, I want to assume people like, I would say, Maleficent and Jafar, you know, are able to keep up with Sora in terms of, like, you know, power and stuff on their own 2 legs. But then when you have people like, you know, Clayton and, you know, possibly Gaston or whatever, and I'm like, yo, they're just humans, all right? How are you going to, like, Hook, like, how are you going to explain, like, entities like this keeping up with Keyblade Wielders? What, Toon Force? Nah, get out of here. So that would make a lot of sense in how these villains gain their power, especially if they're not, you know, villains with underlying, you know, high-ranking abilities, you know, like Maleficent and Jafar. And Oogie Boogie, Oogie Boogie, Oogie Boogie, Oogie Boogie, Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie, Oogie Boogie. Oogie Boogie. Nah, Oogie Boogie. Alright. So, in that idea, and in that respect, Xehanort is probably going to look out of all these villains and see how they're acting, and then it's like, oh, the only reason why they're acting like this is because of the darkness. The only reason why they're able to do all this stuff, which would be a really cool way, if you guys think about it, it will be a really cool way for Nomura to explain how certain Disney villains gain so much power. Oh, Ursula, there you go. Gain so much power to do what they're able to do in their Disney movies. Wouldn't that be, yo, whoa, wouldn't that be an insane way for Nomura to explain that? It's like the reason why Maleficent, the reason why Jafar, the reason why Clayton was able to do what they did in their Disney movies is because they had darkness within them that was able to empower them to, like, you know, really stick it to the hero or whatever, in terms of either, like, you know, strength, mind, or whatever. That'd be a really cool way, honestly. That's interesting. I would like that. I would like that a lot. Oh, boy. But the case in point I'm trying to drive at when it comes to Xehanort's journey leading into his final meeting with the Master of Masters is that I feel the Master of Masters is going to give him a choice in terms of saving the world or feeling that the world needs to be saved, right? And this is spurred off from today's theory, in which, if you guys haven't seen it, check out my YouTube channel, in which that the Master is going to give young Xehanort a choice of like, oh, should this world be saved? Does this world deserve to be saved? Do you want to save this world? Because there might be another world on the other side of reality in which they don't have to deal with this kind of crap, right? And I feel that's going to put Xehanort in a very perplexing spot in which he's probably going to state, as much as he hated what he's seen with the world, I can fix it, right? And that's what that's what Xehanort literally like built up to in Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. And as we see with the clash, the incoming clash between Eraqus and Xehanort, where Eraqus is like, oh, I think we got different views of the world, or the world taught us different things, right? Xehanort's like, nah, I can fix this. Just give me a chance. I can use Kingdom Hearts and then like wipe this world clean. I'm not gonna forsake this world. I'm not gonna ditch this world for another world, right? That's what the Master of Masters wants, right? He just wants to find peace in the light and darkness not fighting each other at all anymore, right? He's tired of that. But Xehanort is probably gonna lead into the idea that this world can be saved as long as I'm the one who's doing it, right? The world needs me, right? But the knowledge of the other world, Quadratum, unreality, fiction, is definitely going to be like a bit of an earworm for Xehanort. It's always going to be in the back of his mind. He's just like, man, yo, this world, like, yo, this is taking forever. I got to do the Keyblade War. I got to summon Kingdom Hearts. I got to reset everything. I'm out here to save the planet. But that other world, though, like, what was that, right? And I feel like, you know, with Xehanort's character, he's always going to have backup plans in his back pocket, right? He always plans out for every eventuality. And in that sense, that's probably why he did what he did in Melody of Memory. And what we learned from Melody of Memory is that, hey, listen, like Terra Xehanort, Apprentice Xehanort says it himself and everything. He's like, listen, there's hope. The world is going to be consumed by darkness. But Kairi, if we're able to find a Keyblade wielder, this experiment is not just an experiment, it's hope. I'm trying to save this world, right? But Xehanort does some messed up, fucked up things or whatever. But I was like, I'm trying to save this world, right? But just in case if you end up in another world, that probably means we failed this one. But your task is far from easy if you wind up there. And then Xehanort, knowing about that other world, probably could use that to his advantage. And then I had the theory today that with his knowledge of Quadratum, either getting a glimpse of it, either from a dream or a description from the Master of Masters, Xemnas, Xehanort's nobody, actually created the world that never was in the image of Quadratum. He wanted a world that was in between that of light and darkness. He wanted a world that is obviously, you know, shrouded by the night sky. A city, a world that he thought that, you know, would be the product of what the Master of Masters was claiming would be the right choice. Like, rather than abandoning this world, rather than abandoning this reality, Xehanort probably tried, he tried everything. He tried everything, and that's like, God, I love Xehanort's character. He tried everything. Keyblade War, summoning Kingdom Hearts, wanted to reset the universe, wanted to balance light and darkness, wanted to take over Terra's body in order to continue his experiments or continue his plans and stuff. And all the while, he's like, no, I'm not gonna abandon this world. But just in case, let me see if I can recreate a world within a world where I don't have to, like, you know, we don't have to go to Quadratum. I can prove the Master of Masters wrong. Let me try. And then he created the world that never was, and it was too close to the darkness, and it didn't really work out because Heartless were there everywhere. And that was like his first attempt. But then Xemnas himself, like before that, Xehanort tried to remake the world in his own image by using a man-made version of Kingdom Hearts, made from the hearts of man, right? And, you know, Ansem busted it up. Ansem the Wise busted it up. But he still tried. That's crazy. Okay, alright. That's insane. Okay, so yeah, so Xehanort was literally trying everything, and I feel that Dark Road is going to give us that glimpse into the tenacity and research that Xehanort does, because Xehanort, he is definitely the most powerful Keyblade master in known existence, in known history. But first and foremost, he's that of a very curious mind. He's a researcher, he's a scientist, he's, you know, someone who likes to like experiment and whatever. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the most dangerous villain tropes ever. Because when you have someone that's actually like good at combat and extremely smart, but also has a thirst for knowledge to the point where like his experiments get really, really, really hanky-panky, that's like one of the most dangerous villain tropes ever. And Xehanort is definitely that, right? So in that ideal, where Xehanort tries everything, he learns about what he needs to know going through Dark Road. We're going to get a glimpse into that, and it's really going to explain his character. But at the same time, Dark Road still needs to have secrets in order to push the narrative along, right? Because Dark Road is part of Phase 2. If you guys don't know, Phase 2 is Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, started with Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, then Dark Road, then Melody and Memory, right? So Dark Road definitely needs to push the story along, and then the ending of Union Cross, Remind, and Melody and Memory all point to Quadrata. So I feel that Xehanort is really going to get, you know, down and dirty with this concept of learning and possibly experimenting with the concept of fiction, of unreality. And then it's probably these experiments that, oh man, yo, what if it's these experiments that he's been doing throughout his entire life? What if these experiments are the experiments that eventually catch wind to Ansem the Wise, and then Ansem the Wise is like, wait a minute, unreality, fiction, the other side, I've heard this somewhere before, right? What if it was Xehanort's own experiments that like made Ansem the Wise like, wait a minute, someone was trying this shit, someone was doing something like this, wait, there's some, this doesn't seem right? That would be a really insane way to like get that callback going or whatnot. And yo, can you imagine if we actually see young Ansem the Wise in in Dark Road? Nah. But all things considered, if we're having this really, really big finale, well, it's not just a finale, it's the whole thing. We keep saying finale because the finale is going to be there, right? It just makes me wonder how big this game is, or the additional story is going to be, right? Because they had to postpone it, and I was always thinking that was going to end off with 10 episodes, but now I'm really thinking like 13 episodes might be the wave. There's 3 episodes out right now, right? And then one thing that's always, and another thing that's making me interested is like, how is the gameplay going to run? Because the gameplay was all a card-based system in which you had to do gachas for, or you just earn the cards or whatever. And they're not doing gacha when the game comes back because it's going to be an offline version. So I'm really wondering, like, are they going to make all the cards available so that you can just like breeze through the game and learn more about Xehanort? That'd be cool. I'm not going to lie, I would like that a lot, honestly. But then thinking about how Xehanort as a character needs this, you know, origin story, because I you know, Dark Road is really, really cool, don't get me wrong, but it was like up until it got revealed, or like, you know, they were talking about it, or it was coming, I never really thought that Dark Road was something that was necessary. And the only way I could see it being necessary in the eyes of Square Enix or Tetsuya Nomura, especially to add it on to Union Cross, and important enough to like, oh listen, we gotta finish the story, we have to put this out, like if Nomura and Square Enix really wanted to, they could have just like, you know, made offline, killed the project, it's not canon, no, nothing, that's it, it's over, right? I like, all you know is that Xehanort met the Master of Masters, and Xehanort is the reincarnation of the player character, and that's it. But no, they're keeping to it, so that means that the story has to be bonkers important, especially for the future of Kingdom Hearts. And I really, really want to know how it's gonna push along, because it has to be Quadratum, it has to be dealing with the 7 deadly sins of darkness, it has to deal with the foretellers, because that's like that's the whole shebang, ladies and gentlemen, right? We are dealing with the foretellers, we're gonna be dealing with the 7 deadly sins of darkness, the 7 deadly darknesses, and possibly the entirety of the 13. But are we going to deal with them in Quadratum? Are we going to deal with them back home? We still have to save Sora first. And if we're going to get this story of Dark Road before all of that, then that means it has to be like super important to the story. It means it has to be super crazy, right? Now, case in point to that is that I really hope that this comes out before the 20th anniversary event. And if it doesn't, that's going to be such a weird position because that is going to, like, either way, Dark Road is going to come up during the conversation during the 20th anniversary event. But I kind of want it to be, like, you know, spoken of already to the point where they could just clarify instead of hyping it up, right? Because I feel that takes out time from the 20th anniversary event, which is fine because, I mean, the 20th anniversary event, the stage event, it's gonna be 3 hours long. Like, the entire event is 6 hours, right? But the stage event is gonna be 3 hours long. That's massive, all right? And although that is massive, I want them to try and focus as much as they can on the future of Kingdom Hearts and possibly clarifications of what went down in the past instead of hyping up something that should have come out already, right? And that's Dark Road. But all in all, I am really excited, and I know it's going to be good because the way Union Cross ended, like, people in the chat, the way Union Cross ended, Union Cross's story was actually, the way it ended was like, okay, that's kind of nuts. That's crazy. I love the Union Cross's ending. Union Cross had, like, one of the best endings ever, right? That shit was wild. Oh my god. So knowing that, and by the way, Union Cross was mostly written by Nomura, right? And I'm pretty sure, like, there was contributors, but I'm pretty sure Nomura, because, like, Nomura is, like, Nomura is the main head of the story, writer, scenario, and the concept of Kingdom Hearts throughout all the games. But depending on the game, there's always additional story writers, like contributors or whatnot. But when it comes to Union Cross, I'm pretty sure that was mostly just him, right? But with that being said, that's the same thing going on with Dark Road. So if Nomura was able to pull that out with Union Cross, I'm sure Dark Road is gonna be fire. Oh, that's gonna be good. The ending made everything worth it. Jeez. But I feel that the ending for Dark Road is gonna be insane. It's gonna take a lot of stuff we know about Kingdom Hearts and turn it on its head, right? And I'm not talking about, like, retconning Xehanort's character. I'm just saying, like, you know, clarification on why Xehanort is the way he is. Probably explain certain things about the Keyblade, Skylight Kylum, especially since the way, like, after Union Cross ended and with Brain and Skylight Kylum, and then Brain is like, is that Brain or is that Lucio? What's going on? I feel that Dark Road is going to explain that. And then Dark Road could possibly even explain the whereabouts of Larxene, not Larxene, but Elrena, Marluxia, Elrena, Laurium, Ventus, Skuld. We know what happened to Xehanort, right? And that's actually really sad. Like, bro, that ending actually got me super sad. Like, Xehanort killing the player character, reincarnating into Xehanort, and then Xehanort being temporally separated from his friends because, what do you call him? Xehanort is dead. And not because he got killed, just like old age. He stayed behind and he built Skylight Kylum, right? And then Brain saw the statue of him in the town square. It's just like, and he started crying, and he's like, yo, that's my best friend right there. It's like, that's the realization. It's like, yo, I'm so proud of Xehanort, but man, he's gone. He's gone. And then Brain going to that point in time makes a lot of sense. Finally makes sense on Ericus having a grandfather that was, you know, part of the Keyblade War, originally one of the Dandelions. So, like, case in point, a lot of people believe that Ericus is the grandson of Brain, and then, you know, Brain went to Scarlet Kylum, did his thing, and other than that, we know the whereabouts. We don't know the whereabouts, but we know that they're still alive and kicking somewhere because I'm pretty sure Brain might have died already, old age, but that only leaves Skuld, which is gonna be so sad when we finally, you know, roll up to her, because a lot of people believe Skuld is Subject X. When we finally roll up with Scold, that's gonna be so sad. Because, like, Scold and Ephraim were two peas in a pod. And then when we finally, you know, come into contact with Scold, Ephraim is gone. Ephraim is dead. So, Scold, Elrena, Lauriam, and Ventus. Like, those are the 4 out of, you know, the others that are still, you know, alive and kicking. And I feel Dark Road would be a good way to, like, explain what's happening with them. Even though they're not in the point of time of Xehanort at a young age. They obviously are there after the fact, after he gets old. And now that we know that Dark Road is gonna have Xehanort's, like, old self in the story, then that could possibly explain how, like, oh, he marked them, or he always had his eye on them and stuff like that. And that could possibly also explain Xehanort's idea, because that's never explained. Dark Road can explain that. Okay, I'm getting really excited now. Dark Road can actually finally explain the ancient Keyblade legacy stuff, right? Especially if Xehanort was eyeballing Elrena and Lauriam for the longest. He's like, oh damn, okay, so Elrena, Ventus, and Lauriam, though, that's the actual trio. No, none of that Terra Aqua Ventus stuff. It's Elrena, Lauriam, and Ventus. That's the real trio, right? He was eyeballing all 3 of them, and he's like, okay, Ventus probably is going to be the easiest one to mold because he actually has Wolf of Darkness. Lauriam and Elrena, you know, I'm going to keep my eye on you, right? And then that was probably the whole idea, is like, oh, why did I choose members 9 through 12, right? And it's because of the ancient Keyblade legacy that dwells within you. But then that leaves the mystery surrounding Demyx and Luxord, right? And Luxord is mysterious only to the point where we know he's from Quadratum, because he's Yozora's driver, right? So how does the ancient Keyblade legacy, you know, fit with him? We have some context to Luxord, but not much, right? Demyx, we have absolutely no context to that fool. We have nothing on this man. So maybe this will help us gain understanding on how possibly Elrena and Lauriam could come into contact with Luxord and Demyx. And then if that is true, then it really could be possible that Demyx may also be from Quadratum, right? Because everyone's like, oh, he's a very Prompto-like character. Watch, he be like the Prompto of Yozora's group. And I'm like, Magia, I feel, is the Prompto of Yozora's group. But, Demyx can still be a homie. Demyx can still be a homie, right? So, in that idea, Luxord and Demyx probably were like, you know, all right, listen, we're coming here on behalf of Yozora. We gotta find, you know, the key. We have to find someone that can help us out, right? And if we roll up with these fools, then we're probably gonna finally find the key, which they actually end up doing when coming into contact with Sora, finally, by being part of the organization, right? So, like, it's so funny when you think about it. When you think about the entirety of the organization, Luxord and Demyx are always the ones that seem to be like the ones like, hey, listen, hey, what are you looking at me for? You gotta look over there, Don't look at us. We're just chilling. We're part of the organization. We're just chilling. Don't worry about us, all right? No, we're fine. Yo, don't look at us. Stop looking at us, right? Obviously, it seems that at that point. So it could be possible that Demyx is actually rolling with Luxord, and that the somebodies of Demyx and Luxord found Elrena and Lauriam, and then Xehanort found them all together, and probably like try to put 2 and 2 together. It's like, oh, okay. So wait, Elrena and Lauriam, they're from the they're from the ancient times of the Keyblade, right? The Age of Fairy Tales, right? But there were supposed to be this many, right? I can only count Ventus, Lauriam, and Elrena. Where are the others? All right, Demyx and Luxord. Okay, they must be the others, or at the very least, they masquerade as the others, and that's why Xehanort's like, you know, Xemnas was like, the ancient Keyblade legacy that slumbers within you, right? And that's only true for Elrena and Lauriam, right? But for Demyx and Luxord, it's not really true because they were just there. They were at the right time, right place, right time type deal, right? Or they could have just came into contact with them in Union Cross and then, like, no, but that doesn't make sense because they would have to go They are to use the arc, but here's a really big but. Luxord's element is time, and he's from Quadratum, so he might have a mastery over time that is like, you know, that doesn't exist in the world of Kingdom Hearts, because the only way you can move forward in time is by using the arc, because you can only move forward in time naturally, and if you don't want to wait, then you have to use the arc, and then like there's a lot of, you know, intricacies there with the whole medium of someone carrying your memories, and then your medium that builds back your body or whatever. You can travel back in time, all good, but moving forward in time, that's a bit iffy. But I feel that Luxord might be someone that's able to do that. So it could be possible that he went to the time of the Age of Fairy Tales with Demyx, and then, you know, went forward in time with Demyx using his power of time, and then came into contact with Lorena and Lorium, which would allow him to be sought out after by Xehanort. But we have to wait and see, whatever. But that's the weirdest thing. Like, Luxord, fine. We know something about Luxord, right? But Demyx, we know absolutely nothing about that fool. We know nothing. And I honestly thought, you know, after seeing Remind, I'm like, okay, that makes sense why Luxord wasn't in Union Cross. And I'm like, okay, but where's Demyx though? Is Demyx in Union Cross? Where's he from? I don't know. I like how the mysteries of Demyx, like, not almost, yeah, a little almost supersedes like a lot of stuff when it comes to how we understand Kingdom Hearts and whatnot. A lot of people are talking about, you know, Keyblade wielders, dual wielding, Yozora, Quadratum, the world of fiction, Xehanort, the Master of Masters, who's under the hood, you know, the foretells and stuff. But then we come back and we're like, but Demyx though. But Demyx though. Like, that's insane, man. But in all aspects, we were kind of veering off of young Xehanort and Dark Road a little bit, but I feel like everything is gonna be connected. That would be honestly, I think that would be a really cool way for them to introduce Demyx and Luxord, in terms of like their backstories or whatever. Like, how insane would it be that, because, like, you know, Remind really put it into perspective that, you know, Xigbar is Lushu, and Lushu is from the time of Fairy Tales, right? But then the one person that seems to get under his skin is Luxord, right? He's like, yo, I do not have an idea who this guy is. I don't have a beat on this dude. I have no idea what's going on. What is the deal with Luxord, right? So it's going to be really interesting to think about when it comes to how Luxord is going to be addressed, possibly in the future of Kingdom Hearts, but maybe from Dark Road. Because I like, if Luxord is making Lushu sweat like that, is the Master of Masters aware of Luxord? Like, that's the thing I want to think about and talk about, because, like, if not, then Luxord might end up being a background character in Dark Road, in which, like, he's watching everything, and like, Luxord would be the type of person to do that. You know, he would be the type of you know, player, like, to have all the cards in his hand. He has to make sure that the deck is shuffled perfectly. He has to make sure he's aware of everything and whatnot. Because he wouldn't be that, like, I wouldn't say useful, but he wouldn't be that much of an asset to Yozora if he wasn't doing all that. And I feel that he is. I definitely feel that he is. Oh, man. That's crazy. You know, finding all this hype and finding all these theories about Kingdom Hearts after Kingdom Hearts 3 ended. A lot of people thought it was gonna be over. That's like, you know, I feel it's very similar to the whole idea of the Infinity Saga in the MCU. A lot of people thought it was like, oh man, after the Infinity Saga, man, like, whatever. How can we be hyped for the MCU after that? And then We get Spider-Man, No Way Home, and we get Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We get WandaVision, we get Loki, and then you're gonna be dealing with Kang the Conqueror, and Fantastic Four is finally getting a movie. Like, it's insane. People really thought that that Avengers Endgame was gonna be like, yeah, man, the hype is done after this. And then Marvel's like, nah, we just beginning, right? And I feel that's very similar with Kingdom Hearts, because a lot of people really thought that, one, Kingdom Hearts 3 is going to be the end of the series, which was never true. For years, it was never true. A lot of people were like, whoa, I thought Kingdom Hearts 3 was the ending. It's like, no, it's just the end of the first saga, the end of the Xehanort saga, which got renamed to the Dark Seeker saga, right? That's it. And then the other point in question is people like, oh, how can I get hyped for Kingdom Hearts after the Dark Seeker saga? And then Izora rolls up and is like, huh, allow me to introduce myself, right? And then we got the foretellers, and then, oh my god, I'm so ready. Like, Kingdom Hearts 4, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. And then I feel like Dark Road is really gonna make that, super hype, because the ending of Union Cross made the idea of Kingdom Hearts 4 or the future of Kingdom Hearts super hype. Like, ooh, it's so good, right? Especially when the Masters start talking about Quadratum, I'm like, okay, we're getting into this. Quadratum, the 7 crowns for the 7 lights, the 13 darknesses, the 7 deadly darknesses. Master's plan by using all of his, apprentices in order to inhabit the deadly darknesses and give them the business. That's crazy. And then Dark Road, Kingdom Hearts, Nomura, Square Enix really thought Dark Road is super necessary, and I need to see what they mean. Like, yesterday. Like, it hurts that Dark Road got delayed a little bit. It was just a little stink, right? But I feel like, especially the way that the English account worded it, is like you're gonna have to wait a little longer, right? The Japanese account really made us think, thanks to the translations, made us think that, it's gonna be pushed back to a unspecified date. It'll come when it comes, right? It's like, oh, it's delayed. When's it coming out? A lot of people thought it was gonna be that because of how the Japanese account was worded, right? But thanks for the clarification of the English account, they were just like, a little bit, just a little bit. It's coming, don't worry, it's just a little bit, right? Especially since those cutscenes that we saw with Old Man Xehanort and Xehanort fighting Ericus, I feel that's from the big story edition that they're doing. And that big story edition, bro, oh man, that has me tilted. And I just need Nomura to be on an interview saying, yo, how much did you add? What was new? What was Dark Road Final Mix? What was the Final Mix part of Dark Road? That's what Nomura's doing right now. He's doing Dark Road Final Mix. Because it was supposed to be Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, and now we're doing Kingdom Hearts Dark Road Final Mix. How? Oh god. That's insane. And I'm telling you this right now. I believe with my soul that we're gonna learn the Master of Masters name in Dark Road. We're gonna see that cutscene played over again, and he's like, oh, so your name is like, okay, my name is, and then whatever. wait a minute. What if they actually pull what they did in Union Cross, where it's like, my name is, and then it's just an asterisk, it's the reference mark. What if it's the reference mark in Japan, and then here it's just blank? My name is reference mark. I'm like, okay, listen, nah. And then, and it's crazy, Benjamin Diskin knows his name. But I feel, because if you guys didn't see that previous episode of The Fifth Dimension, Benjamin Diskin said that, during that scene, he learned the name, right? Like, apparently the name was there, like, either in the script. I don't know exactly the intricacies. It was either the script or that he was merely, like, reacting to what Ray Chase's recording was, right? And then possibly Ray Chase recorded something like that. But I feel I got at first when he said that I got hyped, but at the same time I feel that it was a placeholder name, right? Like it was my name is Paul, and it's like, may your heart be your guiding key, right? I'm a lost master. I promise you, whatever Benjamin Diskin knows when it comes to the name of the Master Master, I promise you that's a placeholder. It's just a placeholder. If we found out the name, you know that I'm gonna be like, yo, Ben. So was that it? Man, I feel, bro, I'm actually really sad. I am really sad that Dark Road isn't voiced. Because man, I would love Benjamin Diskin just saying everything. Just man, I need to hire Benjamin Diskin to just put together a mixtape of just like young Xehanort just like reading, like, I don't know, the Book of Genesis or whatever, and then just me, like, I'll fall asleep to that easily. I need that like now. But honestly, I do think that the Master's name is going to be revealed in Dark Road. And when it comes to his, like, anything else beyond that, no. Master's face, the Master's like, Master's face, his design or whatever, I feel like we're going to get that revealed in Kingdom Hearts 4. Because, like, like, this man can only stay hooded for so long, right? We saw him hooded in back cover. We saw him hooded throughout the entire Union Cross. He's gonna be hooded in Dark Road. He was hooded in Kingdom Hearts Remind. So I'm gonna need to know more about this man, like, ASAP. Man, I find it crazy that Nomura is like playing this type of 5D chess, in which he's like, okay, Xehanort Saga is closing. We're gonna need to set up the next enemy. Let's get it. All right, Union Cross, back cover. Let's go. And then like he like threw that all into like the epilogue and the secret movie of Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's beautiful too. It's great because like that really put into perspective. It's like, okay, Xehanort's down, but then like, oh wow, we kind of forgot about this other problem. Like, oh man, and then Xehanort was just a taste. Xehanort was just the beginning. Like, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet, right? And I'm excited for that. I really am. But the case in point, another thing that I feel that would be a really cool thing to like reveal. I don't know if they're gonna reveal it in Dark Road, but they might reveal it in Kingdom Hearts 4 or in the Scarlet Callion game that Mickey's in or whatever. Is that I really want to know what's in the box, right? I want to know what's in the mysterious black box. And people have been warned, man, people really thought they were gonna get that answer in Kingdom Hearts 3. It's like, nah, we found out about the black box in back cover, and we are not gonna hear about that stuff until like Kingdom Hearts 6 or Kingdom Hearts 4 or 5. But it's gonna be really important. It's important for the plan, and that the black box is part of the Master of Masters plan. And I feel the black box is tied to that of Quadratum. It could either have, like, the black box could either have the Master of Masters' own heart. It could have the darkness of pride in it. It's like, oh, what's in the black box? Oh, it's darkness. It's like, why is the darkness in here? Oh, you'll see. It could have Yazora's heart in it. I'm not entirely sure. It could have Strelitzia's heart in it. I don't know. You know, Ava's in the box. Nah, I don't think Ava's in the box. Ava's somewhere. But Ava's gonna come back. Because we saw at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 that the chess match between that of young Ericus and young Xehanort has the sword piece against the Master of Masters, Lucio, and the 5 Foretellers pieces, right? And that really has me wondering about the fate of the other characters, especially Yozora, right? Like, oh, what's up with Riku? What's up with Kairi? What's up with Aqua, Terra, Ventus, Roxas, Lee, Aiza now, Shion? What's up with all of them? Where are they at? Nominate, right? Why aren't they pieces? It's just Sora versus 7. That's gonna be interesting, right? But that could really, I would say, set up on Riku's possible failure of trying to reclaim Sora, because maybe that chess match, you know, this was Sora fighting the foretellers on his own in Quadratum, because there's no help there. Like, Riku's going there right now, but Riku might have to go in there. He does his own thing. He finds out, oh man, this is a lot. Bounces to try and get reinforcements, to get Kairi or to get Aqua or whatever, and then comes back at a later time. But during that time, Sora's gonna have to deal with the foretellers on his own. Can you imagine if Sora's like actually not in Quadratum? No. I know he's in Quadratum, like, oh, where your voice can't reach us, yada yada yada. But can you imagine that Riku goes there and Sora's not there? Or at the very least, if Riku, like, I feel Riku's gonna end up in Shinjuku and he's gonna be looking for Sora everywhere, but he can't find him. And then, because like Sora's in Shibuya this whole time, and they're not that far from each other, but you do have to use a train. All right, walking from Shibuya to Shinjuku, or vice versa, that's a walk. That is a walk, bro. That's a walk. But honestly, it's going to be really weird seeing this other side of Xehanort that we're going to see in Dark Road. Because I know a lot of people have been complaining about this. I know, but the thing is, like, Xehanort, this wasn't a secret that Xehanort is not, you know, a one-dimensional character. He's actually a very deep, a very great character throughout the entirety of Kingdom Hearts. And especially when you read the secret reports and play the games and actually pay attention to Xehanort's character, you find that out. A lot of people were like, nah, Xehanort's a bad guy. And bad guy means bad guy, means bad guy, means bad guy, means bad guy, means evil, means die, means whatever, right? And a lot of people were mad on the ending that Xehanort got. And I'm like, listen, Xehanort did terrible things, and Xehanort is the villain of the first saga of Kingdom Hearts. But when you look at the entirety of what he was trying to accomplish, he's not a bad guy, right? Sure, he did some fucked up things. Yes, of course, right? And he is the villain. He is the op. He is the opposition. He is the antagonist, but he's not a bad guy, right? And I want to see how people really understand this other side of Xehanort that we're going to see in Dark Road, especially if we're going to be dealing with, you know, aspects of Xehanort throughout his lifetime, right? Because apparently he's going to go from boy to, you know, young man, which is young Xehanort. So kid Xehanort, 14, 15, and then young Xehanort, 18, 19, 20, and then old man Xehanort is going to be like, you know, 69, no, not 69, 75, 70, like 80, 80 some, whatever, right? Wait, 64 plus 20, like 84, yeah, pushing 84. He's going to be, like, he was pushing 90, and, he was 90, no, he was 90 something in Kingdom Hearts 3 of mine. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that Xehanort having this other side to him that's going to be, you know, shown off through Dark Road. I want to see how people, like, you know, get that, because I promise you a lot of people might end up complaining. It's like, oh, retcon. Oh, they're just retconning Xehanort's story. They're making us feel sorry for him. I'm like, what? I've always felt sorry for Xehanort, right? I felt sorry for Xehanort throughout all of his, like, you know, forms. Ansem, Xemnas, young Xehanort, Terra Xehanort, Apprentice Xehanort, Old Man Xehanort. I felt sorry for all of them, right? I always liked Xehanort as a character. I thought he was super, super, super cool, right? And then the idea that I really hope that we're gonna see Xehanort in his prime, because Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, is described as how Xehanort looks like in his prime, in his 30s, right? Because Terra, Xemnas uses Terra's body, like a grown-up version of Terra's body. So when you look at Xemnas, that's what Terra looks like if he aged 10 more years, right? That's like, you know, 30-year-old Terra, that's Xemnas, right? But then Ansem is Xehanort when he was 30. So that's what Xehanort looks like in his prime. Like, okay, so when you take young Xehanort around the 20-year age, add 10 more years to that, that's Ansem. And I really want to see that in Kingdom Hearts, in Dark Road. And I feel that's going to be a really interesting way that people's like, wait, why does it look like Ansem? Why does it look like Ansem, the Seeker of Darkness? And then Nomura's probably going to have an interview or two, and Famitsu's like, oh, like I said before, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness is what Xehanort looks like in his prime, in like his 30s, like buff, you know? So I think that's going to be really, really, really cool. Oh my god. Bro, I'm out of water. That's crazy. We went through a whole bottle of water in this episode. But to wrap things up on a nice bow when it comes to Kingdom Hearts Dark Road, the finale, I just really, really, really hope that it's going to happen before the anniversary event. And if it does, that's a great way, Square Enix. That is I'm telling you, that's going to be a phenomenal way to build up the hype towards the 20th anniversary. All right? Especially, you know, after the release of the cloud versions on Nintendo Switch of the Kingdom Hearts games. Release the finale of Dark Road before the anniversary event. That's going to have people talking about Kingdom Hearts a lot. People going to be like, yo, did you see the ending? Did you see what happened here? Yo. And then they're like, yo, the 20th anniversary event. That's happening in April. And especially given that the actual 20th anniversary is on the 28th. That'd be a really cool time. Oh, I think that'll be a really cool time to drop the finale. But we've been waiting, and we're ready to see the truth and lies when it comes to young Xehanort and how he decided to take the Dark Road for Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. And yeah, that's gonna be crazy. Oh my goodness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Fifth Dimension when it comes to the Dark Road secrets that Xehanort has in his past, and I hope you guys are excited for the finale, hopefully releasing sometime this month, at the very least before the anniversary event. And I hope you guys are ready for the anniversary event. On the channel, we're going to be having daily content within the 10 days, going all the way up to the 28th and beyond when it comes to the 20th anniversary hype of Kingdom Hearts. Let's get this show on the road. I hope you guys are ready, because I am. Now, until the next episode, always be sure to be brave, dive deep, and enter the fifth dimension. But before I toss it out to the wind, let's go ahead and rate another member of the fifth dimension who is currently streaming right now. All right, let's see. Oh, damn. All right. There's a little, oof. Let's see. You know what? We're gonna go ahead and raid Matenta GG. Currently streaming Yu-Gi-Mons. Oh my lord, that's gonna be great. We're gonna go in there and show them our love. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be grand. I hope you guys are ready for the jelly. So until the next episode of The Fifth Dimension, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.